All right, guys, today we're going to be taking a look at the Plasma Coil from Third Man Records and Gamechanger Audio. Third Man Records being the record label owned by Jack White and who puts out a lot of stuff from Nashville. But woo, we got a lot going with this one. LED circuits, transistors, or traditional vacuum tubes, the Plasma Coil achieves distortion by converting your instrument's signal into a series of electrical impulses that are sent to a step-up flyback transformer. The transformer amplifies these electrical bursts thousands of volts, and the current is discharged in a special gas-filled tube. The discharge produced by the transformer creates strong electromagnetic waves that can be picked up with a special antenna or pickup, demodulated and reformed back into an audio signal. This is how Plasma Coil is able to convert instrument-level signal into thousands of volts and then turn these bursts of electrical energy back into audio signal. The discharge tube is essentially a glass chamber housing a pair of electrodes and filled with xenon gas. Xenon is one of the so-called noble gases, and when it comes in contact with electrical current, a process called ionization occurs. Ionized gas becomes partially conductive, and essentially it helps electricity to travel between the electrodes. As a byproduct of ionization, the gas converts a tiny part of the electrical energy into visible light. Thanks to the tinted plexiglass, the xenon discharges appear yellow. All right, guys, we're going to do some tones now. Sorry for the bad video quality on this. I'm having to record with my iPhone. I'm trying to get a better picture of the actual pedal itself, with my real camera. But anyway, sorry for the audio quality on my voice. I'll try and take a break in between so I can separate everything out pretty well. But anyway, so we're going to go through some tones. As you'll be able to see on the screen, we've got everything set about noon. I have the low out a little bit just simply because it is producing quite a bit of low end. I don't really have a whole lot going on in the signal chain. I'm going straight into the pedal, which is going straight into my Marshall Origin 50. Everything's pretty much set at noon on there, except the bass is a little bit higher on it, just simply because the Marshall tends to not produce any bass, so it's kind of back and forth between the pedal and the Marshall. But this is what I felt gave me the best tone. I'm just going to do some simple chords and everything on the regular setting. I'm not going to adjust the voltage much. You adjust the voltage, you get a little bit more of the velcro, but you're still going to get quite a bit at noon. And then we're going to go through the the octave changes and the extra voltage to give you a sense of what that can do. I'm going to do it both with the Strat here as well as with my ML3 Bea from Chapman, and then we're going to go from there. So let's try it out. I'm not going to speak much during this. You'll see me switch it. I might indicate, what the octave effect is doing, but you'll have a pretty good sense of that on your own just simply from the sound. A lot of this, I find that when I go with the bridge pickup, I get a lot of harshness on it. And when you go into the octaves, you get it's a lot smoother when you use the neck pickup, especially in this one right here. So
let's try it out.
All right, now we're gonna switch over. So this is just the extra voltage. You got an octave down here. Now we got 2 octaves down, so that's going to be quite a bit different. It's really, really dirty and just really rough sounding. So, you know, you switch up to the neck and you Anyway, we'll switch on to the next one, which just gives an octave up. And I find that this one especially can get pretty harsh when you switch to the bridge. So that's not particularly my favorite one on here. But anyway, move on to the next one, which is an octave up and an octave down. Fretting out. I need a new fret job. And this is my personal favorite one right here. You can get some really cool effects on this one. Really Jack White sounding stuff. Of course, it's, you know, from his record company alongside Gamechanger Audio. But anyway, it just brings out a really cool, almost synthy sound, almost like a sawtooth wave, which is interesting. Anyway, I'm gonna switch over to the ML3 Bea, and then we'll see what this can do, going through the same things with a humbucking bit. All right, back with the ML3 Bea. And honestly, I prefer the sound of the humbucker just because I think it works better with the way the output works. You can turn down the voltage a little bit, which I'm gonna do. and you're getting a little bit more from the pickups, which is working a little bit better with the amount of output that is running through this tube and having that Velcro-y electricity added to it in the xenon tube. So let's try it out and see what we like. Getting a little bit of feedback there, sorry. So this is the one that's an octave up, and again, I just feel like this one's a little bit harsh. I'll start with the bridge so we can see how harsh it actually gets, because that's where it's going to be the worst. But anyway, let's go. I think they just have this really cool synth Velcro sound, really like a distorted saw wave. Again, like I and this one's my favorite. and that just gets to be a mess, a great mess. Okay, so what are my thoughts on this? This is a crazy pedal, honestly. I've been looking for a good fuzz for a little while now, and the issue that I've had, I got a big muff before, and it just didn't give me that Velcro-y sound. Well, you can hear in these tones that that's what it does. All of this, none of this had any additional effects added to it. All the tones were just produced by this pedal, and I didn't even have it running at a high level of voltage or volume. I didn't mess with the frequencies a lot. This is just the kinds of sound this produces, which I love. And it's great for a lot of things. In the intro song, I decided I was going to layer a couple different things together to sort of get the tones I wanted. And I think that's where this really shines. You really do need something else on your pedal board besides just this. This isn't going to be your distortion tone. In the mix that I had 2 tracks of this, one panned left, one panned right. One of it was from my Marshall Origin, and the other was running through one of the Neural DSP plugins. And then I also had an additional distortion plugin that I ran center channel, which was through Amplitude and one of the Orange amps, a distorted channel from Orange. And then for the lead, I was actually going straight through this and into Archetype Plenty to get me a little bit of the sustain that I need for a lead. This is good, but it's not meant for somebody who's going to tear it up and shred, right? So I added something that gave me a little bit of delay, a little bit more sustain, and then I used this to get some of that Velcro-y sound, which this is what that's for. Plus, the harmonic effects that you get from this are just kind of absolutely incredible. And so it's a really, really good pedal as an addition. It has to fit into your rig. It is not something that's solely meant to be your sole distortion channel unless you're just doing some absolutely crazy stuff. But I love it as an effect, and I think it really has given me the kind of fuzz tones that I'm looking for. So I wholeheartedly recommend this pedal. It's great in terms of its construction. It's solid as a rock. The art on it is awesome. The analog tube that it comes with here that you saw flashing throughout the entire tone test, that's just, it's a really cool pedal. It's about $350, and so it's not a cheap pedal. But in my opinion, the way to go a lot of the times is not often just getting the cheap pedal, it's getting the one that's going to cover the most ground. And so, that's why I opt to get the Empress reverb and the Empress delay, because while those were more expensive, they certainly provide you more options and things that you're going to get out of, 2 or 3 pedals, and ultimately end up spending the same amount of money, but you end up with something better. And that's what I got with this. At first I was like, why don't I get the JHS cheese ball and a clone and a couple of other things so that I can stack my gain and get those Velcro-y tones. And while there's nothing wrong with the cheese ball or anything like that, I really prefer the simplicity of having one thing that sort of gets out there and does a lot for me. And I think that's what this does. Now, this doesn't have some of the, lower level tones that you're going to get out of the JHS. You're going to get the Velcro out of this. You're going to get a lot of fuzz. And this isn't specifically marketed as a fuzz pedal. I mean, in a lot of the literature that they provide, it talks about it being a distortion pedal. And I think that has to do something with the circuitry and the way that the tube works and the way the clipping works because of that. But, at its heart, I think this is a fuzz made for really dirty tones, and it does a great job at it. I recommend it. I love it. I can't wait to play around with it some more and use it in some of the other tracks that I'm going to be putting out on here. And I really appreciate you guys watching. Please like and subscribe at the bottom. I do this in my spare time just to get information out there on what I think are cool pedals and do it in a way that's not overly produced so that, you can really hear what a bedroom producer is going to be able to do with something like this. And it's not my full-time job. And certainly I think I'm trying to produce what other people are going to be able to do with the pedal as well. So it really gives you a good look at what this thing actually does, and not just the cool tones that somebody is going to spend hours and hours coming up with. So again, I appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next time.